Hello, everyone. My guest today is none other than Mark Abbott. He's an entrepreneur, CEO, and coach with decades of experience across startups, early stage, small, and mid sized companies. His track record includes generating over $1 billion in gains for his investors. His dual passion is not just teaching leadership teams how to build extraordinary, productive, humane, and resilient companies, but building every one of the cloud based tools needed to make the associated journey extremely easy. Mark, you ready to take us to the top?
I am ready.
All right. Now you are building these tools for founders that you work with via 90.io. That's NINETY.io. What's the company do? And are you guys pure play SaaS?
We are Pure Play SaaS, and we build an expanding collection of tools that helps people just build amazing companies. So a bunch of different tools, meeting tools, planning tools, goal setting tools, feedback tools, process management tools, just an integrated and expanding collection of core tools people need to build extraordinarily productive, humane, and resilient companies.
When did you launch the company? What year?
We had our first beta users in
20 what?
2017.
2017. Okay. And how many customers are now paying for the platform today?
1,920.
A very specific number. That's great. You're looking at the right dashboards. Walk me before you get to 1920. You've got to get your first 100. Where did you get your first 100 customers from?
I belong to a coaching network of coaches that teach this thing called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And so approximately half of them probably came from other coaches.
And how have you sort of codified the entrepreneur operating system, and why didn't anyone else do this?
Yeah, so actually, there's a long story, but we're not the only ones to have done it. So there's another company out there that has a collection of tools that also complement EOS. But I actually started thinking about the big idea almost 15 years ago, and then became familiar with the community about 10 years ago. And then started really working on the software about 7 years ago.
And how much do these customers pay you on average per month?
Yeah, so the average company is paying close to $140 per month.
Okay, $140 per month. And has it always been that way, or are you moving upstream or downstream?
Yeah, so the basic way it works is we charge on a per seat basis. So it starts at $12. And then as the companies put more and more seats on the system, the price declines all the way down to $3 if they have, hundreds of people subscribing to the system.
Mm-hmm. And Mark, with 1,920 customers paying for 90.io today at $140 per month, what does that mean in terms of what you're doing in monthly recurring revenue?
Yeah, we're virtually at 250.
250. That's obviously, it's a great place to be. It's even more impressive if you've done this bootstrapped. Have you raised?
Have not.
Oh, we love that. I love that answer. So what's enabled you to get, 1,900 customers? You started off with the EOS community. How are you getting customers today?
Yeah, we're probably, I want to say it's close to 50-50 in terms of people that are coming out of the community, working with another coach, and then people who are hearing about it through organizations like EO, right, the Entrepreneurs Organization, Vistage, YPO, hearing about it from friends. We're global, so there are a lot of communities out there that support entrepreneurs, and we seem to be catching on.
Mm-hmm. So what else, is there anything else you upsell them besides the sort of the operating platform tools? Because once you start getting to thousands of customers, upselling even one or two additional tools to increase ARPU by $5 to $10 per month, it means a big difference to obviously revenue.
Yeah. Let's just say I have a 5-year product build out roadmap, and we know we need to do that. We have additional tools that are coming out.
Okay, fair enough. Now, are you burning cash today, or are you profitable?
Well, we could be profitable, but we're burning.
Okay. How aggressively are you burning? Obviously, you're reinvesting in growth. You talking like $100,000 net burn per month or less?
Somewhere between 50 and 100.
Okay, fair enough. And where's most of that capital getting invested?
It is invested. We started putting almost all of our money in engineering. Really didn't do a lot in terms of marketing, and we're just getting going in marketing. We're also now investing in data. So we've actually hired a head of data, and so we're starting to build out things. We're also working on those are the big things, right? So client success costs whatever it costs. Engineering, then we're building out with a pretty decent long-term roadmap, and then we're starting to put money in marketing and into data.
And Mark, how many engineers are on the team?
Um, Probably around 12.
12. And what's the total team size?
Oh, it's got to be over 20, less than 25.
20. Okay, got it. And this price point is a little bit tricky, right? Because $140 a month is not big enough where you can afford to do high touch sales because they're not big enough contracts. But it's also sort of on the expensive side in terms of just being a credit card swipe, no touch on a website. Do you have quota carrying sales reps?
We have 0 salespeople.
Okay. Do you have anyone in sort of customer support, or are people really just swiping without any demo, no calls or anything, just swiping a credit card on your website?
No, absolutely have a client success team, and we're available to do demos, as well as we make it really easy for people to look at videos. The software is super intuitive, so percentage of demos to total trials has probably declined by 50-70% over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now do you, in terms of growing the platform, do you have plans to raise capital, or are you just funding this from your own cash currently?
Well, I've predominantly funded it myself, and then we're to the point now, as you know, we can start to raise some capital in terms of debt. So we're going to do debt, and then it's possible someday that we'll do equity. I love having control, so that's part of the story here, right?
Yeah, Mark, you strike me as a control freak, which is a big compliment. I love control freaks. They then have the total freedom to just build their vision, and usually that's where you end up with the best results. So I love that. When you say you're going to do debt, what does that mean? How much debt capital would you raise?
We're talking to several groups right now about a couple million.
Okay, got it. So well, I guess let me be specific. Will you raise more than 1x your ARR in debt?
No.
Okay, so it'll be below 2.5, 2.8 million in terms of total debt you raise.
Correct.
And how cheaply do you think you can get the debt?
As I said, we're in conversations right now. Honestly, I have not been as involved as my head of finance has been. So I've got a gut for it, but I don't really know.
Yep. Yeah. Interesting. And why use debt over equity? Is it really just a control thing?
Dilution, control, got a very clear sort of vision as to where we want to take this thing. And, so it's all about just staying focused. And frankly, there's a lot of time needs to go into it if you want to go raise equity. And right now we're running 90 to 120 miles per hour, just doing what we need to do. And so as far as, just allocating my scarce time, that's not something I really want to put a lot of effort into right now. And back to being control, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it well.
Mark, I'm going to make a big statement in a second, but I want to know churn first. In this sort of price point, churn can sometimes be an issue. What's your gross revenue churn look like annually?
It's a great question. It's come down and come down. Right now, trailing 13 weeks, I almost don't even want to say this, Nathan, but trailing 13 weeks, we're less than 4% annualized.
Okay, less than 4% annualized. So you're taking 13 weeks times 4 or 5-ish, and annualized, it's about 4%.
Yeah.
And do you have meaningful sort of upsell and expansion revenue yet? So you have net revenue retention above 100%? 140. What are you upselling?
It's just more and more seats. right?
Okay.
So they start off with a limited number of seats, and then we built it so that over time it becomes really apparent that it's really smart to start cascading down the tools to other people in the company.
So across your 1,920 customers, when you look at how they will probably perform over the next 12 months relative to the past 12 months performance, you expect about 4% of them to churn in terms of revenue churn, but 45% of them will expand new seats, etc., leading to net revenue retention of 140% just on your historical cohorts. Is that accurate?
Not net revenue retention, that's expansion. So you take the 140 less the 4%, but you're close, right?
Well, no, I'm not close. If expansion is 140% and churns 4%, your net revenue retention then would be like 136, or sorry, 236%, not 136%.
So let's just say, so you start off with $100, right? And then you go to 140. And then of the original $100, we lose four.
Yes. So got it. So I was right. Yeah.
That's
so your
136.
Net. Yeah. So I was right. Your net revenue retention is between 136 and 140%.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Now let's talk about new user acquisition for a second. What's it cost you in terms of fully weighted CAC to get a new $140 a month customer?
It's interesting, right? And I don't believe the numbers right now. They're way too low. And it's a combination of the fact that we have this great community. So even
you don't own the community, though, right? Do you?
We do not own the community. No, we're just members of. But if you pull that number out, it looks like our payback period right now, because we have not put that much effort into marketing, our payback period is literally less than 3 months.
Got it. So you're spending like $300, $400 to get a new
customer.
For
the non-community based. Yeah, it's lower than that, but I don't even like going there, right?
Yep. Well, so let me ask you a question then. I built Founder Path so that founders could click a couple buttons and raise debt without having to go and do a big process, sign a bunch of term notes, understand revenue-based financing, true interest rates. We have 50 million deploying to founders. We'll have 10 million out here by the end of the month. I'd love to do a debt deal with you.
Okay, let's talk.
Is the number you're looking for? Again, you said less than 2.5 million is really what you want. The tricky thing with debt is the second you take it, you're paying some sort of interest on it, unless you get a big interest-free, interest-only period. So how much cash do you think if you had today, you could deploy it in the next 30 days?
How much cash could we deploy in the next 30 days? Well, in the next 30 days, we're just, our expenses are our expenses. So I'm not quite sure I'm tracking with you. I wouldn't deploy $1 million in the next 30 days. That's for sure. I would deploy it over a period of time. But
well, this is something that a lot of founders don't think about when they think about raising debt. When you raise debt, depending on the facility you raise on, you're paying interest on it, even if it's sitting in your bank. So you want to as closely correlate when you're actually investing the debt dollars to when you're actually drawing the debt, so that you're not paying interest on unused capital.
Right. Agree with that. Not all the deals we were looking at do we have to draw down.
Got it. So you're looking at some sort of line, credit line products, right? Where you've got, you can take down whatever yeah, I see. Very interesting. Well, we'll talk offline more about if we can do a deal together on founderpath.com. You're the exact sort of company that we do these sorts of deals with. So we'll chat more about that later. In the meantime, though, congrats on the growth. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
There's so many, right? But I'll go with Traction just because that's core to everything we do. So Traction by Gino Wickman.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
There really isn't.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company besides your own?
Besides our own. That's I don't really have a good answer. I honestly don't. I mean, we use HubSpot and Intercom, love them both. Number
4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Probably real sleep is 6, but I'm in bed 7+.
And what's your situation, Mark? Married, single, kids?
Married with a 21-year-old boy.
Okay, and how old are you?
I am 60.
60. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
I love right where I am. I wouldn't change a damn thing. So
No
wouldn't want to influence the
regrets.
path I'm on.
No, it's not a regret thing. It's more like when you're sitting down with your boy, what's something you're telling him in terms of life and business?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that we talk about in terms of life and business. I think one of the keys to success is having a very long-term oriented perspective on everything you're doing.
Very good. And hey, speaking of long term, I didn't ask you this, but you're at a call it doing $250,000 a month right now. Where were you about a year ago so we can understand growth rate?
Yeah, last July we were at $65,000.
Okay, so July, we're obviously recording this in October. So last October you were doing what, like 70, 80,000 a month?
Probably
Somewhere in there.
it's
Okay, very
probably
good.
eight. Let's just call it 80.
Yeah, obviously healthy growth. So call it $1 million run rate up to a $3.2 million run rate today. Again, guys, 90.io. They built on the back of a community called EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. They now built these tools to help teams actually measure these goals, make the vision get to work, and then obviously keep people accountable for what they committed to in those goals, scaling nicely with 1,920 customers. Mark, thanks for taking us to the top.
You're welcome.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.